This is Jonathan.
And this is Siri.
Now on to Ellie with Women's History.
Hey there, Mustangs. It's Ellie coming to you today with Women's History Month. Women's History Month is celebrated during March each year to recognize the study of the involvement of women in our common history. History up to the modern day often did not document or recognize the achievements of women in their time. Observing Women's History Month allows us to honor these ignored academic, social, and historical advancements, as well as encourage everyone in our communities to continue innovating our society. Dame Jane Goodall was a famous English primatologist and anthropologist. She was born as Valerie Jane Morris Goodall on April 3, 1934, and passed away on October 1, 2025. Many people considered her the world's top expert on chimpanzees. She spent over 60 years studying how wild chimpanzees live and interact with their families. Goodall first traveled to Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania in 1960 to observe these amazing animals. Jane Goodall founded the Jane Goodall Institute and the Roots and Shoots program. She worked tirelessly to protect animals and their homes. She was also a United Nations Messenger of Peace starting in April 2002. Goodall was an honorary member of the World Future Council. That's all, Mustangs.
And this is Ethan with This Week in Music History.
In 1956, Elvis Presley's self-titled debut studio album was released. In 1969, Happy Birthday became the first song to be performed in outer space. On March 13th, 1972, rapper Common was born. In 1986, Whitney Houston went number 1 on the US album chart with her self-titled album. It spent a total of 14 weeks at the number 1 position. On March 9th, 1987, Bow Wow was born. On March 10th, 1994, Bad Bunny was born. In 1995, Tupac Shakur released his 3rd studio album, Me Against the World. It features Dear Mama, So Many Tears, and Temptations. In 1996, Weird Al Yankovic released his 9th studio album, Bad Hair Day. It features the singles Amish Paradise, Gump, and The Night Santa Went Crazy. In 2001, Daft Punk released their 2nd album, Discovery. In 2011, Childish Gambino released his first official EP. It features the single Freaks and Geeks. In 2019, The Caretaker released Everywhere at the End of Time, Stage 6. The last installment of his 6-part album series. Now, on to music releasing during the break. Kanye West claimed he'll be releasing his long-awaited album, Bully, during this spring break. BTS will also be releasing Airy Rang, and Luke Combs will be releasing The Way I Am.
And this is Jonathan with This Week in History.
On This Week in History, Tuesday, 1862. The first issue of U.S. government paper money occurred as $5, $10, and $20 bills began circulation. On the same day, in 1880, the Salvation Army was founded in the United States, and the Social Service Organization was first founded in England by William Booth and operates today in over 90 countries. Wednesday, 1918. The Spanish influenza virus first reached America as 107 soldiers became sick at Fort Riley, Kansas. 1/4 of the U.S. population eventually became ill from the virus, resulting in 500,000 deaths. The death toll worldwide approached 22 million by the end of 1920. Now here's Jada with sports.
Hey Mustangs, here's your sports for the week. Your Lady Mustang varsity team clinched the district championship Friday with a win 8-0 over South Garland. Tonight they will play Rowlett, starting with JV at 6 p.m., varsity at 7:30 p.m. These are home games. Boys soccer tonight versus Rowlett, JV at 5:30 p.m., varsity at 7 p.m. These are away games. Baseball games tonight versus Wiley, JV at 4:30 p.m., varsity at 7:30 p.m. These are home games. Sachse Golf, March 13th through 14th, varsity at the Walnut Creek Country Club. Baseball games Saturday versus Lakeview, JV at 10 a.m., varsity at 1 p.m. These are home games. Softball Monday, March 16th versus South Garland, JV at 11 a.m., varsity at 12:30 p.m. These are away games. Track and field, Friday, March 20th. Select qualifiers at the Big Green Relays at the Lumpkin Stadium in Waxahachie. Sachse Golf, Monday, March 23rd. District Tournament, JV boys and JV girls at the Firewall course.
I hear spring break with Jonathan.
Do you smell that? The unmistakable odor of BO and sunscreen mixed with regret? Yes, it's that time of the year again, when hundreds of thousands of American students descend on resort towns in Florida, Texas, and the Caribbean for a week of spring break. EDM thumping, foam parties, and more than a few poor decisions. But how exactly did spring break become a rite of passage for American co-eds? And do today's college kids still get psyched about a week of sunburn and fried shrimp specials? Let's start with some history. Ancient history. Turns out you can trace the roots of spring break all the way back to those crazy ancient Greeks. Apparently, it can get stressful inventing democracy and Western philosophy all day, so the Greeks like to blow off some steam each spring with a 3-day awakening dedicated to Dionysus, the god of wine and fertility. But the real start of spring break as we know it was in the mid-1930s, when a swimming coach from Colgate University in frigid upstate New York decided to take his team down to Florida for some early training at a brand new Olympic-sized pool in sunny Fort Lauderdale. The idea clicked with other college swim coaches, and soon the spring training migration became an annual tradition for swimmers nationwide. Since you can only swim so much, wrinkly fingers are a real thing. The college athletes also excelled in other activities. Word got back to campus that Florida wasn't a bad place to spend Easter break, and the flow of northern college students to southern beaches started to pick up through the 1940s and 1950s. But the uncontested landmark moment in spring break history was the publication of a little book originally titled Unholy Spring, but smartly changed to Where the Boys Are. In 1958, Glendon Schwartrout was an English professor at Michigan State University who tagged along with the students, not creepy at all, to witness their beatnik-era shenanigans in Fort Lauderdale. As the crowds became larger year over year, they also became more difficult to control. By 1985, more than 370,000 students were traveling from Fort Lauderdale to enjoy their spring breaks. However, rowdy behavior led to events surrounding spring break to be shut down by local officials. Drinking on beaches were prohibited, and students were informed that they were no longer welcome to the party. However, a number of alternative locations quickly rose to become primary spring break destinations thereafter. The three most common spring break locations today are Panama City, Florida, South Padre Island, Texas, and Cancun, Mexico. Panama City hosts more than 370,000 students each year, while South Padre Island has around 150,000 student visitors, and Cancun about 100,000. In Texas and Florida alone, students spend around $1 billion, giving a local boost to local economies. The average spring breaker spends around $1,100 in 1 week, which is more than the average family of 4 spends on food in a whole month. Now here's the student-teacher basketball game.
The students tied up. So I'm there. Enemies, back to me, they can keep on trying. Start a beat, feel the heat, then bite dust every time. I can bear with the stress I'm under, but it only makes me stronger. So clear in my mind, it's just another opportunity. How do you like me now? How do you like me now? How you like me now? How do you like me now? How do you like me, baby? How do you like me, baby? How do you like it, baby? How do you like it, baby? How do you like me, baby? How do you like me, baby? How do you like it?
And this is Weather with Gina.
Hey there, Major Mustangs. This week will mostly be sunny, and we're starting off with Saturday with a 80 and 65, and Sunday being a bit cloudy with a 81 and 39. Monday and Tuesday also being St. Patrick's Day, yay! Will also be cloudy with a 56 and 38, and a 64 and 46. The last 3 days will go back to being sunny, with Wednesday having a 75 and 56, Thursday with a 84 and 60, and Friday with a 86 and 61. That's all, Mustangs. Bye.
And this is Word of the Week.
What's up, Sachse High School is Idle with the word of the week, and the word of the week is lapidary. The definition of lapidary is related to stone and gems involving engraving, cutting, or polishing. Lapidary in the sentence is the jewelry box contained a small but impressive display of Suzanne lapidary obsession.
Bye, Mustangs.